Step into the world of ancient Rome and uncover the mysteries surrounding the legendary gladiators. We delve deep into the hidden secrets of these formidable warriors who fought for fame, fortune, and survival. The funeral games later increased in scope during the reign of Julius Caesar, who staged bouts between hundreds of gladiators in honor of his deceased father and daughter as they became more popular at the end of the 1st century. BC games were hosted to entertain the masses, for the brave fighters who risked life and limb to entertain the masses of ancient Rome. How did they live when they weren't in the arena? Buried deep beneath the grassy fields of the modern-day villages of Petronella and Duchy Altenburg in Austria, a remnant of ancient Rome that have been undisturbed for centuries. In 2011, a team of archaeologists carried out a massive project to map the site where the famed gladiators of ancient Rome once lived, trained, and died. Ground-penetrating radar sent pulses of electromagnetic waves through the earth to create high-resolution 3D images of the site while leaving it intact underground. At first glimpse, when you're looking at the results, it's just different shades of grays, blacks, and a bit of white, but slowly start to see shapes form, and it's those shapes that we want to investigate. What the X-bearers have found at Carnuntum is a courtyard structure with a little round mini amphitheater, not so far from the main amphitheater. There were places around to animals for beast fights, that were places around to house the gladiators as they were sort of progressing and training. All of that can be reconstructed simply from penetrating with signals the ground below our feet. They were able to determine that this was a gladiator school, which has not been touched by modern construction. There was pretty much still intact, thanks to modern archaeological techniques where we can actually see what's underground without actually having to dig down there and expose these artifacts to the air. We can explore this gladiator school in all of its detail, knowing that it's been preserved as best as it possibly can. It's really once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to understand what the gladiators' daily lives were, as they were training to become a fierce warrior. While there are many funerary reliefs that depict epic gladiators' battles, few actually stand as testament to the warriors themselves. Instead, they form part of the lavish funerals held for the wealthiest, for the warrior celebrities of their time. Death by the sword was often followed by simple disposal. The Roman Empire spread wide across the lands where new sites are only now being uncovered. Other crumbling landmarks mean the loss of history of decay, but one major event ensured remarkable preservation. In 79, and the eruption of Mount Vesuvius was the most devastating eruption in recorded times. The Roman city of Pompeii was a flourishing hub home to an estimated 20,000 people, but one day the volcano named after the mighty Hercules unleashed its wrath. The mountain that once provided shade and rich soil to its people destroyed everything in its shadow on the day of its explosion. It's sending up what's called an umbrella pine cloud into the air, and after that, it starts releasing litholi and ash, and then eventually a lava flow. It didn't matter who you were, man, woman, child. Whatever your position was in society, death from Mount Vesuvius was indiscriminate, unlike typical burials from the rest of ancient Rome in Pompeii and Herculaneum. There are no relief carvings in grand mausoleums to study the lives of those who died from the volcano. In 1863, Italian archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli was the first to discover a street named the Alley of Skeletons. As Fiorelli is working, as he's digging through this sort of lithified layers of litholi and ash that have accumulated over the city, he's coming down upon these gaps. They realize these are people preserved them because they are negative spaces. What he pioneers is he puts plaster into these voids and the plaster solidifies. He's able to make these sorts of eerie reconstructions of the dead of Pompeii. What we are seeing on individuals literally gasping for their last breaths. We see mothers covering their child, protecting them. We see individuals hugging each other. We see others running, taking shelter, miraculously under 6 meters of ash, which calcified over the centuries. Some human remains in the form of teeth and bones managed to survive over 2,000 years. Scientists determined that the soft tissue of the victims would have taken 30 to 40 days to decompose in the hardened ash and pumice. When they did, they left voids around their bodies in the exact shape of their final moments, while Forelli's cast created these magnificent forms and protected what little biological matter still remains cutting through the layers of plaster. To get a look at what could be left inside is far too dangerous for decades. The question of who these individuals were, how they lived, and how they died remained unanswered until now.